It's all about engagement. It's all about leadership. Some quick figures I'd like to share with you is, disengaged workers, our folks that aren't happy at being at work and don't share a common safety vision, have 30% higher absenteeism, 49% more accidents, and 60% more errors and defects, which those of you can do quick math and figure that that really impacts the bottom line. I don't believe anyone goes to work thinking they're going to get hurt. No one ever thinks that. So that's our big goal. That's our common vision. How do we take and shift this industry to become safer? And how do we get our employees to become more engaged? And it starts at the top. It starts with us as leaders of our business. We need to be engaging, focused, and we need to lead narratives and conversations with our people from the top down and from the bottom up. We need to be open to feedback, and we need to be supportive of what they tell us and ready to react on their request. Soon you'll build trust, you'll gain engagement, and all of a sudden you have that safety culture. So as you make connections through the next 2 days, focus on how you can take information back to your folks, engage them, and grow that safety culture and make it a core value. So again, I'd like to thank you for attending, and thanks for everything you're going to bring to this conference. I'd like to introduce our new CEO, Dante Shannon.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for traveling to sunny Florida to be with us this week for our 37th Management and Annual Meeting. I want to quickly thank Banquets for their professionalism as we get our program underway, and I want to also ask your patience as they will continue to service us throughout the program this morning. Also, I want to make a quick note that we'll be in this meeting or this room for quite some time this morning, so if you need to take a bathroom break or refill your coffee, please feel free to do so. Over the past 2 months, I've had the most fun getting to know this membership. And I think one of the most memorable moments for me was having the opportunity to operate a Cat 966 wheel loader. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, this guy operating a wheel loader? For real? He's so clean, well-dressed, dapper, handsome, and look at the head of hair on that guy. Okay, I might be getting carried away a little bit. But what I found so amazing about this piece of equipment was the ease at which it was easy to operate. Such a heavy piece of equipment, and just the tap of the control would move one thing, or just the push of the gas would move it forward. And it was just an amazing experience for me just to realize how far we've come in the construction industry. And it also allowed me to get a glimpse into the day of a technician. So thank you, David Bolderoff, for that experience. I look forward to many more of those types of experiences in the months and the years to come. It's my honor to have the opportunity to learn from all of you this week. Again, my name is Dante Shannon. I'm the new CEO of AEMP, and I'm excited to get to know all of you as I get settled into my new role. Stan, the retiring CEO, and retiring Executive Vice President Cindy Chalice-Orr and staff have told me so many wonderful things about this group. And I look forward to working with you in the years to come as we usher in a new, exciting, and innovative chapter with AEMP. A little about me. I'm originally from South Carolina, and I've spent 12 years working in association management. I've spent the past 3 years working as an executive director, CEO of the Specialty Advertising Association of California, where I helped the organization transition to have a larger impact locally. I've worked for other associations, including the Association for American Medical Colleges and also the Society of General Internal Medicine. I'm a proud graduate of the College of Charleston and a certified association executive. I'm really excited for the opportunity to lead this nationally renowned accomplished organization following the exceptional leadership of Stan Orr. I love what AEMP represents. As a professional who strives for excellence every day in the work that I do, what is so attractive to me about AEMP is how it focuses on helping its members also strive for excellence in the work that they do every day. I look forward to talking with you at this meeting in the coming months, in the coming years, about the needs and the values you embrace as members of AEMP. I'm also interested in learning about the challenges that you face in your business and what the role of the association can be in helping you solve those problems. The association's work is made possible by many member volunteers just like you, who serve on our boards of directors, committees, and work groups. If you're not yet engaged in a volunteer opportunity with AEMP, I encourage you to do so now. This is an exciting time for AEMP, and we are getting ready to step into a new era. Trust me, you don't want to be on the sidelines for this. Before I move into some additional announcements, I also want to thank you for dedicating your week to education and training with us. Staff and volunteers have worked hard to provide a rich meeting experience with opportunities for networking to enhance your skills and to make new connections. Finally, there are about 9 hardworking people in this room and in the foyer who will not get much sleep this week, including me. Please help me in thanking one of the hardest working teams I've had the pleasure of working with, Jenny, Sharon, Rachel, Chris, Tony, Emily, Brittany, and our other team member, Kim, who unfortunately can't be with us today. But they've all been working diligently over the past 2 months, 3 months, to really deliver you a great experience over the next 2 days. Please help me in giving them a round of applause. Thank you for all that you do to make this meeting successful. I also want to thank ZTR Control Systems for sponsoring our breakfast this morning. Our sponsors' generous help make our meetings a great experience, and we appreciate their involvement. So thank you again. For those of you who don't know, we also have a foundation. It's called the AEMP Education Foundation. And the foundation focuses on building talent, building the workforce, and building the industry's brand. We are working to get this foundation more engaged with the work of AEMP, but need your support of the foundation to do so. So how do you get involved and get engaged and support the foundation? The first opportunity will be this evening. I want to invite you all to attend our Foundation Topgolf event this evening, and you'll also have the opportunity to make donations this evening at that event. Now, I want to be clear about a few things regarding the Topgolf event. So first, it is free to attend. If you paid your registration, you've already paid to go. Second, space is limited. We have just a few slots open. We do have a capacity we are limited to for this event. So if you'd like to go, sign-ups will be at the registration desk where you retrieve your badge and your materials for the meeting. Third, and I can appreciate this one, golfing is not required. Trust me, you don't want to see me golf. We've reserved a lounge area that will have a full bar, we have food available, and there'll be a great opportunity for networking. That's probably where you will find me most of the time, and laughing at other people golfing. So please join me there. Also, lastly, we will be seeking donations for the foundation during this event. The highest donor will win a 3-month Topgolf membership, a complimentary membership to Topgolf. And you have until 9 p.m. to make your donation. And I should probably throw out there that so far, our highest donation is $1,200 by John Deere. Thank you, John Deere. So, yeah. I know some of you may want to beat that donation. And please remember that all of your donations to the foundation are tax deductible up to the amount allowed by law. I want to also encourage you all to download our conference app if you haven't done so yet. We want you to use this app as your primary tool for the conference. This is where you'll find the most up-to-date information on meeting times, what meeting rooms they'll be held in. There's also a survey tool, which will be real-time this year, that we're introducing. So you'll have the opportunity right after a session to evaluate your session and also your speaker. So we encourage you to do that because it helps us make these programs and conferences better and enhance the experience for you as we move forward. So please download the app if you haven't done so yet. I want to ask the members of the annual planning, 2018-2019 annual planning committee to stand for a minute, please, if you're in the room. Rachel, would you please stand as well as the staff liaison? Let's give these folks a round of applause. This excellent group of volunteers have worked extremely hard to curate a really dynamic annual meeting for you with great education sessions. And so we thank you for your dedication and service to the association. And again, I encourage all of you to get involved if you aren't currently involved in one of our many committees, including the annual planning committee. So you saw those people standing up. Please talk to them about getting engaged. One other thing I want to tell you about is we will have a videographer walking around the meeting. We'll be asking some of you to just do brief testimonials about your experience and with AEMP, what you enjoy about being a part of this organization, stories about engagement. We want to use these things to do some membership outreach going forward and also help us do better marketing and communication to our potential constituencies. We're looking to engage. So I encourage you to participate in that. You may be voluntold, so just be prepared for that. But we appreciate you working with us throughout the next 2 days to deliver that content for us. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce your 2018-2019 AEMP Board Chairman, Greg Peet, who will deliver the State of the Association. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Good morning, everyone. So I have a speech prepared to share with you, but I have to start with an observation. We had Dan Hubbard provide a safety moment for us, and I thought he did a phenomenal job with that. And that was followed by our new CEO talking about running a wheel loader. Now, I have safety concerns, Dave Bolderoff. So I'm just saying, so let's be careful who we have operating our equipment. So ladies and gentlemen, you've already been welcomed twice to the 37th Management Conference and Annual Meeting of AEMP. But here I go again. It's been my pleasure to lead this great organization over the past year, and as you can see, we're witnessing the turn of a new era for AEMP. As we prepare to close another chapter and start a new one with new organizational leaders, I want to take a minute to reflect on the highlights of the association over the past year. The CEM designation remains the premier professional credential for managers of off-road heavy equipment fleets and municipal government fleets. The credential also continues to be the hallmark of AEMP in establishing and distinguishing top-notch equipment managers. AEMP is proud to announce there were 35 new CEMs in 2018-2019, including 7 women, fully 20% of our graduating class. So that is phenomenal. It's great to see some diversity. Phenomenal stuff. And in addition, we're only in the third month, obviously, of 2019, but we've already got 5 new CEMs in 2019. We'll have an Ignite class going on during this conference, and CEM testing, CESP testing going on Friday. So we'll be pleased to welcome many new CEMs at the end of that period. So if you're interested in taking your career to the next level, make sure you check out the information on the CEM and CESP programs on the AEMP website. AEMP volunteer leaders are smart, strategic, analytical, effective communicators. They possess keen decision-making skills and have earned the reputation of having emotional maturity, personal integrity, and honesty. I'd like you to join me in welcoming our 2019-2020 Board of Directors. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. I'm going to start with the Executive Committee of the Board, which will be led by our 2019-2020 Chairman of the Board, Mason Ford of Skanska USA Civil. Our Chairman-elect is Dave Bolderoff of the LA County Sanitation Districts. I apologize, I should have mentioned that both of these gentlemen are CEMs, as is Dan Hubbard, Secretary-Treasurer of CRH America's Materials. And I'm pleased to be able to continue on the Board of Directors as the immediate past chair. I am a CEM as well, and I hail from the Helm Group in Illinois. Now I'd like our 8 directors at large to stand as well as I call your name. These first 4 individuals are finishing the second year of a 2-year term. They are Randy Bossman, CEM of Granite Construction. Dan Pitt, CEM of Mulzer Crushed Stone. Tim Morgan, CEM of Branch Civil Incorporated. And Adam Ralph of Trailer Brothers. The next 4 individuals are beginning a new fresh 2-year term, and they are Keith Barrett, CEM of PC Construction Company. Ben Caldwell, CEM of Nabholz Construction Services. Casey Dowling, CEM of United Rentals. And Tim Giggy, CEM of Covia Corporation. And finally, our associate directors, Ryan Blades of John Deere Construction and Forestry. He is our Director of Strategic Partners. And John Fazenbaker, CESP of WareCheck USA, our Director of Associates, who also, if I'm not mistaken, was the first CESP, received the first CESP in history. So that's exciting stuff. So just a final round of applause. Thanks for everyone's service. Thank you. So the retirement of Stan and Cindy Orr also means a transition of crucial resources and human capital. For those of you who aren't aware, Stan and Cindy are the owners of a company called Nonprofit Resources, which is a full-service association management company. That company has been managing AEMP for about 21 years now. Our association has now, with their retirement, retained a new association management company called AEMP, run by Linda Patterson. And we're really excited to see what the future holds with our association with AEMP. One of the things that has occurred is we have extended our staff resources from a staff of 5 to a staff of 9. So if you are excited about all the things that we were able to accomplish with a staff of 5, just imagine what we'll be able to do with this extended staff. These extended resources will definitely help AEMP fulfill its mission of, there we go, building excellence. I know this, building excellence in equipment management. That's what I get for reading a speech rather than just speaking from the heart. One of the biggest highlights of this last year was conducting an executive search for AEMP's new CEO. You've already met him, Dante Shannon. It was a very wide search. There were innumerable applicants. There was a rigorous vetting process. But at the end of it all, we're extremely pleased with our selection of Dante. This young man, while not of our industry and not a wheel loader operator, has extensive experience in association management, as he's already mentioned to you. He came to us as the executive director, CEO of an association in California. He spent 3 years with that association, transitioning them to have a deeper impact in their industry, to reach out and provide more resources for their constituencies, and we look for him to do the very same with AEMP. Dante is smart, he's innovative. I'm excited to see how he challenges and grows this organization in the future. I've been really pleased over the last 2.5, 3 months. We have a weekly call, Dante and I, and most recently Mason has been joining us on those calls. And it's just fun to see him engaging and beginning to really make this thing his own. In 2014, AEMP created a long-term strategic plan. Last June in Denver, the board met and committees met, and we decided that we needed to update that plan. We added one critical issue to it, but in total, the strategic issues that we have been dealing with since 2014 are safety, technology, workforce development, internal customer relations and communications, partnerships, and the final item that we added in June of 2018 was a membership development emphasis. As part of our CEO transition plan, though, we recognized that it was time to put together and unveil a new strategic plan. As a result, the leadership is planning to meet again this June, and we would like each of you to be a part of that process. Certainly, the board of directors will be there, committee chairs, committee members, but that invitation is extended to all of you to participate in this process. Because at the end of the day, we want to enhance your relationship with AEMP and how AEMP is able to improve your work life, to educate you on the things that matter in the business that you conduct. And we also want to make sure that we continue to elevate AEMP's place in this industry. So our plan is to have facilitated discussions. We will have a wonderful facilitator for this event in June. We plan to put together a formal strategic plan that will guide the association's resources for the next 3 years. You've already heard about the theme of this conference, Connect. So in building off that theme, the Annual Education Committee has invested countless hours in identifying the education lineup that will connect our attendees with new people, new ideas, proven methods and solutions to the issues facing equipment managers, each of you today. This year's tracks of education align with AEMP's core competencies of equipment management, and specifically 3 of the identified strategic issues that I just mentioned. In particular, those are technology, safety, and workforce development. Since June of 2018, the committee took a record number of presentation proposals, and the resulting lineup contains 4 keynote presentations, 14 educational breakouts, 1 master's class, 30 speakers, and 2 connection hubs. The committee also made a point to experiment with a variety of session formats while taking some risks in programming. The introduction of connection hubs and a 3-hour master's class on telematics implementation taught by end users are examples that will be evaluated and considered for future use. Total registrations have exceeded 320, positioning this meeting to be one of the highest, and I believe the second highest attended meeting in AEMP history, second only to, I believe, Houston in 2016. I want you to know that overall I'm very optimistic about the state of our association. We're at a crucial and pivotal moment in the lifespan of this great organization. We've grown tremendously, and we continue to see that AEMP has on our industry and on each of you, our members. But there is still much work to be done. As our industry and society changes at increasingly faster paces than we witnessed in the past, we have to stay future-focused. We have to stay aligned with the things that will continue to keep the association in an upward trajectory. But I'd like to switch gears now and talk just a little bit about 2 special guests we have in our audience. But before I do that, I'd like to welcome someone else to the stage. We have a special guest here, a friend and colleague of these 2 folks, Pam Heeman, who would like to share a few words with you. Pam, would you come to the stage, please?
So good morning. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to take you on a journey back to the mid-1990s. In 1994, Stan D. Orr, CAE, was named an ASAE Fellow. That's the American Society of Association Executives. In 1996, I was named an ASAE Fellow, a bit remedial compared to Stan. And in June 1996, I attended my first Fellows Retreat, where I first met Stan. And after the usual good-humored new Fellows hazing, Stan and I became good friends. One of the things I immediately learned about Stan was that he is a bit of a different thinker, a bit outside of the box, quirky. Now, today, we call those folks innovators. Sounds a little better, doesn't it? Sometime during that retreat, Stan determined that I might be just the person to help him move the board of an organization where he was then CEO to a new governance model. So off I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to work with the board and Stan. And the board was brought around to a shift to strategic governance. Now, if you ask Stan, he would say to you, well, Pam Heeman Heemanized them. And if you happen to have been on the AEMP board at any time during the past decade, you might have experienced that with Stan and me, right? So the truth is that he had prepared them so well. He had a vision of something better for them, and they trusted in him to take them there, just as AEMP has trusted him for so many years. Well, on that trip to Oklahoma, I also met Cindy Orr. I soon learned the Orrs were a dynamic duo in the association world. And Cindy was a very well-known exemplary leader with the Oklahoma Nurses Association. No doubt the best example of this leadership was the speed with which she used her influence and skills to organize members of the Nurses Association to be among the early medical responders at the site of the Oklahoma bombing in 1995. She demonstrated courage and empathy in a way we all hope we could do in a crisis of that magnitude. As for Stan, we became fast friends, colleagues. I never stop learning from one of the most mission-focused, innovative leaders I know. He always seems to have the right combination of knowledge, influence, and passion to do what is right for the organization he serves, even though it may not always be the easiest path. He's also a fun golf partner. No surprise, he's one of those quirky left-handed golfers. Most of all, he is a dear, dear friend within my association community. He and Cindy have become part of my world. Thank goodness. So thank you, Stan and Cindy, for being my friends, role model to so many, mentors to so many. You are just such good people. Thank you so much. And now it's my pleasure to bring to the stage Bob Merritt, a past chair of AEMP. Thank you.
Good morning. It's my privilege to be here today, to be able to come back one more time as we honor two very special people, icons in our industry. Just think of where we've been and where we are today. I remember years ago, sometimes we wondered whether we were going to make it or not. There's lots of problems. But one thing about Stan and Cindy, they know how to overcome problems. You know, I think back, how did they do what they accomplished? I think the biggest thing is because they made us feel part of a family. Families are what succeed. That's why AEMP succeeds, because we're a big family. You know, it's been said that behind every good man, there's a good woman, an even better woman, and that's Cindy Orr. I can remember all the good things that Cindy did. She was the glue that held things together. When things were falling apart, she pulled it back together. She kept Stan on task, made him be where he was supposed to be at the right time, kept him moving forward, kept him doing those things he needed to do to move forward this organization. I had the opportunity to being on the chairman of the board. I remember the first day that I was put in. Hadn't been 30 minutes, and Stan came and grabbed me and said, "We have a problem." And I said, "Oh boy, what did I get myself into? I thought this would just be easy, and we're just starting our first conference, and we have a problem." But one thing about Stan, he is a strategic thinker. He always had a plan to fix that problem, and we worked through those problems. Because of those problems, you now have the telematic standard, okay? Something is amazing. We were told that would never happen, wasn't possible, but look where it is today. That's what can happen when we have good leadership. As I look out today, I see 6, 7 past chairmen of the board. And one thing that we all very been blessed of is have Stan be our mentor. He kept us on task, pushed us forward. It's not an easy job, but he made sure we succeeded. You know, when I retired, Stan says, "Well, I'm going to follow you." And I says, "I don't know if you can do that. You know, what are we going to do if you retire?" But I feel we're in a good place. Time to go forward even more. The opportunity's there. Stan and Cindy, you'll be missed but never forgotten. It's been my privilege to be one of your friends, and that's what makes us grow. You've been icons of the industry, and you'll never be forgotten. We love you for all the things you've accomplished, and thank you.
So thank you so much, Pam and Bob. I've had the privilege of being on the board when we were being humanized, and it was really a great experience. Pam has done wonderful things. She mentioned a more strategic board. We considered ourselves. I don't know that we actually thought in these terms, but we were much more operationally focused until Stan and Pam started to mold and shape us to be more strategic thinkers, to think about what's going to be happening in the industry tomorrow, where do we need to take our members to make them most successful. So I really appreciate that, and talk about someone who has taken us to that next place. Bob Merritt was instrumental in getting us there as a past chairman and Hall of Fame inductees. So, as I mentioned before, it's been my tremendous pleasure to lead this association over the past year. In January of last year, before I assumed the role of chairman, Stan, Mason Ford, Rachel Connor, and I went to the CEO symposium put on by ASAE. ASAE is the American Society of Association Executives, the association for associations, if you will. It's meant to provide a means to help chief elected and chief executive officers, Stan and myself in this case, learn how to best work together and collectively lead our association. But before that conference started, Stan and I found ourselves in the bar the first night. We started brainstorming and visioning about what big issues we might tackle in my year as chairman. We decided that, and it was very obvious, the biggest issue facing the association was this very transition process that we're talking about this morning, and that we are so pleased that has gone the way it has gone. But we felt that the biggest issue facing the industry as a whole, however, and not just equipment managers, was workforce development and how to draw more people of all ages, all genders, all ethnicities into the industry to become technicians, equipment managers, and craftspeople of all types. So on the workforce issue, we decided that it was time to go big or go home. We already had a workforce committee, but we had not made that strategic thinking leap of go big or go home. We concluded that we wouldn't just focus on the narrow band of occupations that were most important to equipment managers, be they technicians, be they our assistants, be they the future equipment managers themselves. But we would rather approach it from an industry-wide rising tide raises all boats point of view. And we would do it through a collaborative set of partnerships with many stakeholders, some of whom are here today in terms of AEM and AED. AEM is the Association of Equipment Manufacturers, AED, the Association of Equipment Distributors. But those are just two of the many partnerships that we've begun to form to work on this problem. So by the time that we were done at the bar, we felt that we had pretty well solved all the world's workforce problems. There was alcohol involved, not copious amounts, but there was alcohol involved. But I will tell you that the fruits of those discussions resulted in a highly engaged workforce development committee led by Keith Barrett and his staff liaison, Rachel Connor. Let's give them a big hand. So you say, why do I bring this up right now? I bring this up because this just speaks to the relationship that I've had with Stan, and that extends to Cindy as well. Stan and I generally spoke on a weekly basis, just as I mentioned Dante and I have been, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. He worked tirelessly for the association, and in particular for each chairman that has served in this position. He made our jobs so much easier than they would have been without that kind of support. We brainstormed, we collaborated, we cajoled, we commiserated, and we generally talked through everything that it takes to keep an association like this moving forward. Stan was a huge asset in this whole transition process. Honestly, he could have said, folks, I'm retiring, good luck, see ya. He did none of that. Ultimately, his diligence led to a partnership now with our new association management, AEMP. Linda and Stan were kind of like the dynamic duo of again, greasing the wheels to allow the executive committee, which served as the transition committee, to get on with the process of vetting candidates and ultimately finding a wonderful new CEO in Dante. So I spent all this time really focusing on Stan and his relationship with me and with AEMP chairman. But it's already been said by Bob that much of the glue that holds this association together has been Cindy. I worked directly with Cindy. She was the staff liaison for one of the committees that I chaired over time. And whether it was that committee or just about anything else at just about any time, Cindy was the go-to person that could make it happen for the association. She was a phenomenal executive vice president. Thank you, Cindy. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite Stan and Cindy to join us on this stage. And Dante, you as well, please. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to honor you both. For the past 20 years, you have both championed AEMP's mission and exhibited tireless allegiance to its advancement. When thinking of AEMP as the premier organization of equipment managers, we cannot do so without acknowledging the crucial role you both have played in making the organization what it is today. You've embodied excellence in equipment management by pioneering innovative programming, expanding AEMP's portfolio of resources, and creating a voice for industry end users. Stan and Cindy, you are, I should be facing you. Stan and Cindy, you are outstanding professionals, mentors, teachers, colleagues, and stewards of AEMP, as well as the heavy equipment industry. For over 2 decades, you have been the most impactful and visible proponents of AEMP's development in the industry, exhibiting benchmarks of true professionalism in equipment management. On behalf of the Board of Directors, AEMP members, and staff, we thank you for the generosity of your time in serving the needs of our industry professionals before your own. And we honor you today with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you all, or thank you both, for all you have done. So Stan and Cindy, we can't let you get away, though, without addressing this body one more time. So if you'd care to say a few words?
I'm not comfortable doing this, but I'm going to. I told Stan I'd go first so that he could breathe for a minute. For the last 35 years, I've been lucky enough to work with the different associations. I started with Associated Builders and Contractors in Colorado. I worked for Associated Builders and Contractors in Southern California. The Oklahoma Life Insurance Underwriters, that was an exciting group. The American Association of Petroleum Geologists, as well as the Oklahoma Nurses Association, and finally AEMP for the last 20 plus years. I've been privileged to help the association grow and change and mature. We've worked together to become proactive and more progressive. I've truly loved working with you. I will miss you. However, there are things I won't miss, such as trying to wrangle sponsorships. Good luck, Tony. Or trying to figure out how to pay for steak on a chicken budget. But I know I've left you in good hands. So I'm going to enjoy some time off, and I'm going to ride into the sunset in my brand new Tesla Model 3 Fire Engine Red. Yeah. Enjoy your conference, and thank you for everything.
She was talking about the chicken budget. For how many of you were here the year that the budget was so tight that every meal was chicken? Do you remember that? So, I don't think we ever let you live that down, Cindy, so I had to say it one more time. And I noticed that we're 7 minutes over here, so I'm not going to say anything at all other than to say thank you. And it's been a great journey, and I think I've learned as much from you as anybody should be allowed. I've just been really honored and privileged to work with a great group of people, a great group of human beings. And I'll leave you with one thought. I hope that you always continue to strive to drive your profession and push it forward. It's come a long ways. 21 years, I guess. It's come a long ways. I can still remember my first board meeting and how different the group is that's in the room now. This is a bona fide profession, and I urge you to stay on top of that. Push yourselves forward. Push yourselves into the C-suite because you're very capable of doing that. I think you're the smartest people in the world. And in the words of Dale Warner, who was one of my first chairmen, keep a strain on. Just keep a strain on. Thank you. Does anybody have one of these? We're trying to figure out where we put that in the RV. Sorry. Thank you.
So Stan and Cindy, thank you again so much for all that you have meant to this organization. What I'd like to do now is thank all of our conference sponsors. I won't read all the names, but you can see them displayed on the slide in front of you. And I'd also like to provide a special shout out to Geotab Management by Measurement. They sponsored our hotel room key and sleeves, Hyundai Construction Equipment, our lanyard sponsor, Machinery Trader, our Catchbox microphone sponsor, and finally Volvo Construction Equipment. Thank you for the early morning coffee, much appreciated. I would also like to thank our strategic alliance partners. I have a wonderful place in my heart for you guys. You help to support all the annual goals and objectives of our association. Partners play a huge role in making everything happen that we do. They have great commitment. They really do help us drive the industry forward. Our partnership with them is tremendous, and I thank you for that. The things that they do help us to truly magnify our efforts. What I'd like to do now is introduce John Fazenbaker to you. John will be introducing our keynote speaker. John, as mentioned before, is our Director of Associates. He is from WareCheck, USA, and he will kick off the next part of the program. Welcome, John.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Connect 2019. This is the 37th year that this management conference and annual meeting has been held, and it's a time where we celebrate excellence while learning and connecting with our peers. On that line, the connect is something really important. Those of you who are sitting in this room, end users, you are what drives this association. And with that being said, the involvement that you put into committees is what's really going to steer AEMP in the direction that you get exponentially back versus what you put into those committee times. There's only one reason that your opinions, your thoughts, and your goals for AEMP will ever be unheard, and that's only because those words are unspoken. And the way to keep that from happening is committee involvement. So please do reach out, look for people with badges that have committee on them, engage with them, speak with them at the networking events throughout the course of the day, or just pop your head in on those meetings and see what's happening. One other thing I'd like to pipe in real quickly is with WearCheck. This is my 20th year. My first ever conference was 1998. Best friend, colleague, mentor, Ken Hill, who also works with WearCheck, is celebrating a birthday today, and Ken has been coming for over 25 years to this show. And it means a lot to us to see Stan and Cindy finally get your chance to ride off and enjoy the rest of your futures together. This morning, I have the privilege to experience Misha Globerman, who is here to speak for us about how to talk to people about anything, communication secrets from expert negotiators. Misha is an expert on the subtle arts of negotiation and communication. He takes the principles of good negotiation and better listening and applies them to a broad set of circumstances to help people solve problems together. They reach mutually beneficial agreements and communicate more effectively in all walks of life. He is a faculty director at the Ivy Academy, the executive education program at the Ivy Business School, and has taught the course How to Talk to People About Things to hundreds of people and dozens of organizations, imparting memorable and effective negotiation and conflict resolution skills. So please welcome Misha Globerman to the stage and enjoy the next bit of time that he's going to speak with you.